Hey everyone, and welcome into this week's episode of Cougar Central presented by Energy Ogre. I'm Sydney Gearbracht. This is Eric Kelly. Eric, a lot of awards being distributed to Cougars this weekend, but I know it was another awards weekend. How'd you like the Oscars?
Oh, I'm a big awards ceremony guy. I like to see everyone come out and kind of act outside of the movie, see what they're like in real life. And not only awards season in Hollywood, awards season for UH, as you mentioned. A couple golfers bring home big awards. We'll mention that later. And then track and field, big team award for them.
Absolutely, and make no mistake, the men's track and field team earned their championship this weekend. Houston men's track and field claimed its third consecutive American Conference Indoor Championship on Saturday, while the Houston women recorded its first podium finish since 2014 by finishing third overall. The Houston men totaled an American Conference record of 174 points and were led by 6 individual titles on Saturday. On the women's side, 2 Cougars claimed individual titles in the 200-meter dash and triple jump. Saturday's title was the 18th indoor championship in men's program history, as the Cougars have won 14 indoor conference championships in head coach Leroy Burrell's 19-year tenure. Men's basketball had 2 key wins this week. The first, a come-from-behind win against UConn. The second, a 72-71 victory over Memphis. Damian Dotson continues a standout senior campaign with 25 points against the Huskies, while fellow senior Kyle Meyer put up 9 points and 11 rebounds. Dotson continues to lead the Cougars with 31 points against Memphis, while Galen Robertson had a game-saving block that clinched the win over the Tigers. Women's basketball split this week, first falling to USF despite sophomore Cerelia Hawkins leading 16 points and 10 rebounds. The Cougars played their final bout in Hofheinz Pavilion with an 81-65 win over East Carolina. The Cougars were led by a career-high 27-point performance by Jasmine Harris. Baseball came home from Whataburger Park with a 2-1 record on the weekend, dropping to Mizzou but taking the victory against both Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Illinois. John King tossed his first complete game, the first of his career, while 4 Cougars made the all-tournament team, including Jake Shiner, Jared Triolo, Seth Romero, and John King. Softball had another tough weekend on the road in Palm Springs, California. Sophomore Savannah Hebner went 6 innings, giving up 2 runs and 4 strikeouts in the win against the Boilermakers. Kaylin Crumpton had a home run against Oregon State, while Shelby Miller continues to lead offensively, this weekend being a major contributor to the Cougars' RBI total.
On the links, a clean sweep for Houston Golf this week. Sophomore Leonie Harm earned her first ever weekly award as the AAC recognized her as the Conference Women's Golfer of the Week. This comes after she brought home 2 top 10 finishes in just over a week. She'll look to add a third as the Cougars host the Dixon on Monday and Tuesday. Meanwhile, on the men's side, junior Michael Paris earned the AAC Men's Golfer of the Week honor. Paris led the Cougars to a 3rd place finish this past week in the All-American Intercollegiate, as he led all Houston golfers with an individual score of 4 under. This week, another important tournament for the Cougars, as they are in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, for the Querencia Cabo Collegiate. Meanwhile, 9 other Cougars are competing as individuals at the Colin Montgomery Invitational. Tennis with a tough weekend journey out west, falling to both Washington and Oregon. This continues a very difficult road trip for the tennis team, as the ladies are now over halfway done with a stretch of 10 straight road contests, as they will not return to the Barbara Wallace Winston Tennis Facility until mid-March. This week in Houston athletics, another busy week for Cougar sports, including both softball and baseball returning home, plus the last ever game at Hofheinz as the men take on ECU. Don't forget to come out for that one. And women's basketball begins its run in the AAC Women's Basketball Tournament.
Well, that does it for this week's episode of Cougar Central. Be sure to follow UH Athletics on both Facebook and Twitter.
And don't forget to tune in next week for more UH Athletics updates. And as always, go Cougs!